So in a world of comfort and hubris, be the humility and faith that it was to be a Columbus and a great Crusader. Our next guest is Missouri Congressman Eric Burlison, someone who I think espouses a lot of these qualities quite well. You're carrying that on Capitol Hill these days. Congressman, welcome back.
Great to be back.
Well, Columbus Day, I know that you guys probably have your own means of celebrating. I forget how Missouri calls it. I know that every state has a different designation of how they call this day. Well, how does Missouri call Columbus Day?
We call it Columbus Day. It's pretty simple in Missouri. And in Missouri, most of the school books still talk about how it was a monumental moment, that it was a brave experience. It was a forward thinking for Christopher Columbus. I think history books also reflect that the more that we find out that Leif Erikson also discovered North America, but it took Christopher Columbus to really create the gateway and open up Western Europe to what is today the United States and to America.
Yes, and right. So there's all these relics we found on the interior of the United States that back up this idea that, Columbus wasn't the first guy here, the first Westerner to arrive, but he certainly did open those floodgates. But he has since become the villainized face of evil colonization. And I'm glad and heartened to hear that Missouri school books are not bending to this. But for the most part, the school systems have bent to this idea that Columbus is this villain, and so are our founding fathers, that they were slave owners and therefore they were these terrible people that we should not laud as heroes. How do you go about rectifying this, if not at a very deep cultural level?
Yeah, I think that at least what we try to educate our daughters is that there is no real human other than Jesus that was perfect, and that people have flaws, and it's okay to look at the flaws, but it's also not okay to make those flaws the only thing that's discussed. And I think that sadly the left wants to only discuss the negative aspects of some of our historical figures, but ignore the great importance of their achievements. The fact that Christopher Columbus was able to make it here and then create a trade route is the reason why this country is so prosperous today. To put blame on him for slavery is, while we all want to go back and be the moral judges of people in previous cultures, at the end of the day, he wasn't the one that invented slavery. It had been in existence for a long time, and it was prevalent all over the globe. And yet, sadly, he is blamed. He seems to have all the weight of that sin brought upon his shoulders.
Congressman, I think that part of the villainizing of these great figures in history is the less allergy to discovery and exploration. They claim to be these forward thinkers, but when push comes to shove, they don't support forward thinking. They don't actually support exploring and getting out of our comfort zones. They don't support the freedom to do that. And I think fundamentally that's something that we're coming to realize as we watch them try to rewrite history. They villainize these guys because they don't want to create future versions of them. And yes, as you say, these weren't perfect men, but they did make some phenomenal accomplishments that should not be denigrated.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.